Hello and greetings. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today I'm so excited because as some of you probably know, I had the privilege of attending the Berkshire Shareholders meeting and spent a day with Warren Buffett, of course with other people who were at the Berkshire Hathaway Annual Shareholders meeting. And I learned a lot about what Warren Buffett was talking about life in general, the things that he has learned over the years from investing. So I'm going to break those down and summarize them for you. I have about 8 points that I thought I would just share with you. But for me, the experience was very phenomenal because I met a lot of people from all over the world. I met people from Korea, from England, from Germany. So there were about 40,000 people. And the whole arena was full. So that was very interesting because surely people would come because they see value in that. That was that. But for one to attend that, because a lot of people were asking me, is you just have to be a shareholder, right? So there are 2 classes of shares for that. For Berkshire Hathaway, Class A, they are oversubscribed. Actually, they are quite expensive. The shares, I think they are over 500,000 a share. But also there is the Class B shares, which were trading on Friday last week for around just over $400 a share. But the composition of Class A and Class B is quite similar. But those ones, they are cheaper in that regard. So I own Class B shares, and just having one share, enabled me to be in the same room with Warren Buffett. So what happened is every year on the weekends of May, usually people converge to Omaha, and Warren Buffett will be answering questions, usually on a Saturday after they report their earnings. Like yesterday, Warren Buffett started answering questions around 8 a.m. and then continuously until 12, and then we took a break from 12 to 1, and then we came back 1 to 3, and people were asking any question, and it was broadcast on CNBC. So a lot of people, they think investing is very complicated. If you have a brokerage account and you have some money that you want to invest, then it's very easy to do that. But the most important thing is you have to understand the things that you invest in. So now, back to the things that I learned from attending this meeting and also being in the same room with the legendary Warren Buffett include, number one, investing on economies or markets that you understand. I remember there's one shareholder who asked, I think he was from Hong Kong, and then he said, would you consider investing in Hong Kong? And also there was another question of potentially investing in India. But for investing in Hong Kong, he was very clear. He said, no, Berkshire Hathaway primarily focuses in investing in businesses in the US because they understand the laws, they have a competitive advantage, they understand the system, right? But also there are other people who asked if they would consider investing in Canada. He said Canada, they've done some investments in Canada. And of course, they've also, Berkshire Hathaway, Charlie Munger, who was the vice president, is late now. They also invested in China, BYD, for those who follow this, and they made a lot of money. They also invested in Japan, but they happen to do their research and understand. But primarily, most of their investments, they are in the United States. So the takeaway for me, I primarily invest in the US because I understand the market there, but I'm also Canadian as well. So I like to look for publicly listed companies here in Canada as well that I understand. So that is very key, staying in your circle of competence and where you have advantage. And you can't really invest in everything. If you just find a handful of companies that you understand, if you want to invest in those, you understand the services, then you can still make a lot of money, and there's no need to chase after every other stock, what stock. And particularly for me, once I see that the stock is the talk of the town, everyone is talking about it, what it means in my view is that the market is already priced in that news, because what big hedge funds do is they have high frequency computers with algorithms. So once they pick some news, they can start to buy or sell. So it's very likely that sometimes once you hear that, oh, this stock has gone up by 10-20%, there's a risk that you can just, get in at the top, and then when it corrects to the intrinsic value, because stocks fluctuate, they go up and down, then you can probably lose money there. So I like to get in, like what Warren Buffett said, he doesn't swing at every ball for goal. He waits, right? So that was another lesson. Patience. It's very important as an investor to specifically carefully choose the companies and understand that when you're investing in businesses, in stocks, you are buying a piece of that business. So for me, when I think of companies, for example, investing in Amazon, when I think of buying online, which stock do I want to, which business or which stock do I want to buy on? Mostly I think of Amazon. So I look at their track record and all these other things. I understand that this is a solid business. They have a lot of cash. I've done some videos too, a video on Amazon. You can check it out on my website. So when I'm investing in stocks, I am buying a piece of that business. So I should understand that business. So that was another major takeaway. And also the other thing was that it's also important to, in this life, there are a lot of things that happen in life, and it's important to prioritize spending quality time with people who are of value to you. Not to say I would be selective to say I don't talk to this and that, but because we have very limited time, 24 hours a day, and you don't know where you're going to die. For me, this particular principle resonates with me because at some point I was just, doing things or working jobs that I wasn't really happy about, until a point I realized, like, you know what? Life is very short. I should focus on things that I'm passionate about. Of course, I might be speaking from a privileged point of view, but I enjoy talking about the stock market, building wealth, investing money, and also trading options and even stocks. But also at some point, I'm happy to work for the government or other non-profits or other businesses whose specifically have values that align with my views. I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm doing things for the sake of it and I'm not happy. For me, happiness is very, very important. So that's something that I realized, choosing something that you want and aggressively pursuing it. For me, that's something that is meaningful. And also, Warren Buffett shared that something that he has learned in life that is important is like, you can make money, you can do all these things, but being kind and good to the world is very good. He also actually shared a story of this wonderful lady. Her name is Carol. If you check on CNBC, probably you will see her. She invested $1 billion in a university towards the students who will be pursuing medicine. So she had invested in Berkshire Hathaway, and then she donated that money so that a lot of students will graduate debt free. So that's what some people can do. And she, from what Warren Buffett says, she didn't even want the school to be named after her. She just wanted to do good to other people. So that's something that I've also realized is very important. And now, also in conclusion, I think for me, the other takeaway from interacting with other like-minded people at the Berkshire Annual Shareholders meeting, and also listening to Warren Buffett, is something that I wanted in my lifetime, to just be in the same room with him, is that dreams come true, but you have to work actively towards it. So for me, the first stage was to understand investing, follow him, read his annual shareholders meeting, like letters to the shareholders, but also buy shares from his organization, from his fund, Berkshire Hathaway Corporation. And then, I flew from Canada, so I was staying in a hotel, and of course I had to, pay for those things. But for me, it's something that is meaningful to me. I networked, I made a lot of connections there, some other contacts that I made, and probably some of you guys may be watching this. Thank you so much. You made my experience incredible. And what interested me is people came from all over the world, right? And it's the mindset that sometimes it's about, who you spend your time with. If you, in my case, I like to spend time with people who can challenge me, people I can learn something from them. So for me, that was it for my experience. So I hope you find this helpful and insightful. And thank you so much for following my channel. And I hope you learn something from this, and have a wonderful week, and may the markets be with you. Bye bye for now.